Hello everybody, it's Holly here. I can't believe it's been 2 years since I did a video. I'm now 20, so I thought it was about time that I did another one to update you all on how I'm doing. For people that haven't seen my other videos, I basically try to show people what it's like living with the genetic condition cystic fibrosis. In this video, I'm going to give you all an update, answer a lot of questions I've been asked, and also show you some new treatments that I've been having in the past few weeks because of my cystic fibrosis. As you can see, I'm currently in the hospital again, but yeah, I'll tell you all about that after I've answered all these questions. So here we go. Okay, so my first question is, do I use inhaled antibiotics? Yes, I do. I've had a variety over the years, which I've taken through my nebulizer device. I've had different ones for different infections, and they vary from having to have them once a day to twice a day. I think it's quite an effective treatment because obviously the antibiotic's being taken straight to where the infection is in my lungs. It's just important that you do it after physiotherapy, so your chest is at its most open and the antibiotic can get down into your lungs as much as possible. Right, number 2, do I avoid contact with other people with CF? Yes, in terms of my general social circle doesn't involve anybody with cystic fibrosis. I don't meet up outside of the hospital with other people with cystic fibrosis. However, when I'm in hospital and there's other people on the ward that have got cystic fibrosis also, there's quite a lot of us that are all my age, and we all chat and we'll sit in each other's doorways with the window open, the fan on and everything, and have a good gossip. And I also speak to a lot of them online on Twitter, Facebook, etc. And I'm so glad for the internet because it's such a good way of being able to keep in touch. And obviously we can Skype as well, so we can actually see each other face to face. It's always going to be one of those annoying things that you can't actually socialise properly with other people with cystic fibrosis, but obviously it's not worth it for the risk of infection. Right, the second one. Is it possible to have a relationship with CF? Yeah, of course it is. There should be no problem with you being able to have a normal relationship. I'm currently single. I have had a boyfriend in the past, and he was totally understanding of my cystic fibrosis. Obviously, it's a difficult thing introducing somebody into your life and introducing them to the cystic fibrosis, because whereas for me it's been like a gradual thing over the years, building up my different treatments and getting used to more regular hospital admissions, and everything sort of just is gradual and is easier to get, you just get used to it over time, whereas for somebody new coming into my life, I think it's quite a big shock for them to see it all, and it could, really worry them. But I think because of my attitude and the way I take it all in my stride, and I try not to put worry on it or anything, I think it puts them more at ease. I think it's really important not to milk it and make a big fuss about it, because nobody wants to go out with someone that's just always moaning about being ill. So you just always got to put your smile on your face. Right, number 4, where did I get my vest? I got my physiotherapy vest from a company called Hillrom. I'm going to put the link in the information box because it's something that I've had hundreds of people ask since I did my video. I initially got the vest on a trial to see how I got on with it, because it doesn't suit everybody. And then after the trial, I then decided that yeah, it did work for me and I wanted to get one. Like I said previously, you still cannot get them on the NHS. You have to buy them yourself, and they are not a cheap thing. We had to fundraise so hard for it and raise £7,000 to buy it. It's not an easy option getting one in the sense of cost, but I think it's been more than worth it. Someone just put MRSA. Obviously I know that MRSA is in hospitals and people seem to suffer with it, but touch wood, I'm lucky, I've never had MRSA. I am always extremely careful when I'm in hospital. I'm a bit of a clean freak, and the nurses know that and respect that, and they're really good. Right. Is it difficult to keep up with education? Well, now I'm 20, I've obviously finished normal schooling education. When I last spoke to you, I was actually at university, and I was just finishing my first year. However, I had a really bad summer in 2011 it would have been, and I couldn't actually go back to university the following September because my health was so bad, and so I deferred for a year. And in that year out, I started to train as a hairdresser. I've been really lucky with the salon that I work at as an apprentice, and I have shorter hours and more days off, regular breaks to for me to help with my disability, which is what they have to do. However, they do go over and above. So yeah, it's never, my health has never really affected my education. I've always had really good teachers that send my work home or email it to me when I'm ill. I'm a very hard-working person and dedicated and determined, and so I've never let my health get in the way, and I've always done my schoolwork. So I think you can either obviously let your CF be an excuse for falling behind at school and not doing well, or you can just think, actually, no, I'm not going to let it stop me and just get on with it and do really well. And I'm actually really proud to say that I got 2 A's and a B at A level in art, textiles and biology. Someone's asked, does my lung function PTFs increase after IVs? I actually have really bad lung function PTFs because of my asthma. I find it really difficult to master the technique of breathing out into the machine, and so it's actually not really an accurate representation of what my lung function is like. So I don't really do it that often because my doctor doesn't find that it's useful. It doesn't indicate anything. We more go on how I'm feeling in myself and how my chest feels and whether I'm breathless or wheezy, and sort of how far I can walk and what I'm doing if I'm struggling, rather than using the PTFs as a guide. Do I use the flutter or other breathing devices? No, I have tried the flutter in the past, the a cappella and the PEP, but I didn't get on with any of them. I didn't feel like they worked for me. But recently, sort of in the past year or so, I've been taught a technique called AD by my physio, which is a breathing technique where you don't need any device. You just basically do lots of breathing, really slow and deep, and you move the mucus through this breathing technique, and it's fantastic. It's the best thing I've ever learned. So if you ask your physio about AD and get them to teach you, it's a really good technique because, like I say, you don't need a device, so you can do it anywhere and everywhere. I do it when I'm driving, and also if I've got some mucus there that's bugging me, I do the breathing and I can move it. Next question, do I have IVs voluntarily or because I need to? It's a bit of both. Me and my doctor have decided the best thing to keep my health constant and stable is to have IVs every 3 months as a standard thing. And obviously I've agreed to that, so I suppose that's kind of voluntary. However, if in between the 3 months when I'm off the IVs, I get an infection or I get poorly, I do have to be admitted. But equally, I normally ring them and I'm like, look, I've got a really bad infection. Do you think I need IVs? I come in for an examination and a consultation, and normally it does end up with me having the IVs. But I'm quite willing. I've never refused IVs or not wanted them because in the long run they're going to be good for you and they're going to help improve how I'm feeling and make me feel better, because it's rubbish when you feel grotty. And the IVs do always work at making me feel better. Okay. What is my nebulizer called? The actual device which I do my nebulizer in is called an iNeb. And then also you can get parinebulizers, which I sometimes use too. But the iNeb is what my nebulizer is called. Right, what do I do as physio when I go away? Do I take my vest? If I'm going away in the UK or to a friend's or anything like that, yes, I will take my vest because it's easy. We can just transport it easily. However, if I'm going away abroad on holiday, I don't take my vest because it's so much hassle taking it all over there, and obviously you don't know if the electricity is going to be the same. And things like that. So I do my auto drainage technique when I go on holiday. So yeah, that's been a really good thing to learn for that as well. It means that I can go away on holiday and not worry about taking stuff to do my physio. Right, how do I cope with doing all the treatments? This is something everyone asks. How do I do it? How do I fit all this stuff in? But I say to people, anything becomes normal with the passage of time. And because it's been a gradual build-up, getting more and more treatments, it doesn't feel like I do as many as I do because it's just normal for me. And everyone says, like, oh, you're so brave and you're so strong. Like, how do you do it? But I haven't really got another option. I've never experienced, like, what it's like to be normal. And so for me, this is my normality. And I think it'd be weird not doing it all. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. So yeah, I cope really well with doing my antibiotics and medicines and everything. I do it all religiously, especially now I'm getting older. It's so important to do all my treatment to keep my health stable. Next question. How do I cope with the life expectancy? Well, this has been an ongoing battle actually for the past 2 years, which I've really struggled with. As I get older, I sort of feel my own mortality more, and as I see my friends talking about getting, like, when they want to get married and having babies and things like that and talking about their future, I can't help the thoughts running through my head like, oh, am I going to have that? So yeah, having a shortened life expectancy has been something that's difficult to deal with. However, I've come to terms with it, and now I kind of feel really free knowing that I'm not going to have a long life because I can just do what I want and just like have fun. I've not got to worry about a mortgage. I've not got to worry about getting wrinkles. I can just enjoy the time I've got with the people that I love, go on holiday, have adventures, and sort of have a life that I think a lot of people would love to have. Like, I don't have to worry about money, and I work because I want to work, not because I have to work, and things like that. So yeah, it is difficult, but you have to come up with strategies to cope with it. And obviously you're always going to have a bad day, but just filling my life with positive things helps me cope with it. Do I tell people about my CF? I think that's pretty obvious. Yes, I do, especially doing these videos. Okay, transplant thoughts. I don't want a transplant. That is all I can say, really. It's something that I've never wanted. Ever since I first heard about it when I was about 12, I remember turning to my mum and saying, I never want a lung transplant. I find it really hard to grasp the idea of having somebody else's lungs inside me. And I think a lot of people see it as a cure, and it's not a cure. It's just something that's going to buy you a few more years. But equally, those years aren't going to necessarily be good ones because it depends on how well the operation goes, whether you reject them, and you're still going to have to do so many treatments to keep well. It's kind of like swapping one disease for another. It's not actually getting rid of one. So yeah, that's something that I've decided I don't want. Even though I could be actually put on the transplant list now, I've decided not to. I can understand why people have transplants, but it's just something that isn't for me. Right, what size is my vest? I'm not sure. I think it's a small adult one. It's got 3 clips and the Velcro on the arms to adjust it. But that's all I know. I will have a look and I will let you know. Do I get tired of taking all my medicines? Obviously I do, sometimes, but if you think about it and you get annoyed about it, it just drags it on longer. So you may as well just do them, get it out of the way, get on with your day. Right. How many tablets do I take a day? I reckon about 40 plus, off the top of my head. That's with all my enzymes, all my antibiotics and all the other cocktail I take. Everyone has different treatments, individual. Right, yeah, a lot of people have been saying to me, oh, I have this treatment, I have that treatment, do you do this, do you do that, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? You've got to remember that cystic fibrosis is a very individual disease. No two people are the same. Every single case is individual, and so therefore don't go asking your doctor, oh, I saw this girl on YouTube, she has this, why haven't I got that? Your doctor gives you the treatment that you need for the infection you have, and so therefore you are not necessarily going to need the treatments that I am on. Okay, that's sorted. What was I studying at uni? I was studying textile design at university, but yeah, like I said, I had to drop out after first year, which I was upset about, but I've since found a career in hairdressing, which I absolutely adore. Right, do ports get clogged very often? Portacaths are meant to have a lifetime of 10 years plus if you look after them. I'm so careful with mine. I've had it for 3 years now, and touch wood, no infections, no problems, nothing. It's all about just being super sterile, keeping it clean, to stop it from getting infected or blocked or anything like that. So I don't actually know the official figures of what the chances are of infection, but obviously the less clean you are, the more chance of infection. How long do ports last? I've answered that. 10 years plus. And then, do I have internet in hospital? Yes, I do. My hospital provide a wireless internet service. However, I do have to pay, and it is £10 a week. But it's more than worth it, because otherwise I'd be bored stiff. That's all the questions actually answered now. So I'm going to move on and tell you about what's been going on in my recent life. Okay, so basically when I finished university, I decided to go into hairdressing. I now work 2.5 days a week at the most wonderful salon you can ever imagine, and I absolutely adore it and all the people I work with. The day I walked into there and handed in my CV was probably the best day of my life. In terms of my social life, I've stopped going out clubbing. I don't go out clubbing at all anymore. I just don't have the stamina to stay awake till that late at night and dance. So instead, I go to the pub, do pub quiz, I go shopping with the girls, go for lunch. So I still see all my friends and have a great time, but I just have to sort of play it down a bit more now, not go wild. What else? So yeah, I think I've probably had about 6 hospital admissions since my last video. I'm currently in hospital at the minute. I'm on day 10, and as you can see, I have a feeding tube. Now, I've never had a feeding tube before. However, with the infection that I had, I lost so much weight and I dropped to 37 kilograms, which is dangerously low. So because of that, I asked if I could have this nasogastric feeding tube, which is able to give me 2,000 calories a night on top of everything I eat in the day, in an aim to be having 4,000 calories a day to put my weight back on, make me stronger and be able to fight off this infection. So now actually I'm going to show you the process of having an NG feeding tube put in and fitted. It's not the most pleasant thing, but again, I think it's important people see these things. And actually, this is something I'm going to be doing every single night at home. When I leave the hospital, I'm going to be having feeding at home, and I will pass the tube every single night and take it out in the morning, so I look normal in the daytime. And then when it comes to night time and I have to have my feed, I'll be putting it in myself. So yeah, you'll be able to see that this is one of the new treatments I'm going to be having to help keep me healthy. I'm about to have my nasogastric feeding tube inserted. This is a procedure which is done whilst awake and without any sort of anaesthetic. This is all the equipment needed for my nasogastric feeding tube to be accessed. It includes syringes for suction, water for flushing, a pH stick to check that the stomach has acid in it, and the giving set for the feed bag. As you can see, my nurse starts to insert the feeding tube into my nostril. This is quite unpleasant, and when it hits the back of my nose, it actually makes my eyes water. I'm not crying. Once it starts to go down the back of my throat, I take a drink and start swallowing it down. I keep swallowing, and it obviously hits my gag reflex, and at that point I take a massive swallow so the tube can go down into my esophagus. My nurse then pushes the tube in really quickly so it's over nice and fast and the tube is in my nose. The nurse then has to check that it's in at the right length. I have to have it in at 52 centimetres. That's the correct positioning for me. So this is my nurse just checking it is in the correct position. Once it's in the correct position, I then hold it in place while she does something called aspirating. This is attaching the syringe to the tube and actually sucking back from the stomach some of my lovely stomach juice, which she then pours onto the pH stick, and has to wait for the reading to check that, yes, it is acidic, it is in my stomach and not in my lungs. So once that's okay, we then start to set up the feed. So the feed is put through a machine which obviously drips it in overnight, and my nurse has to just set all that up. After that, then we have to flush the feeding tube just to make sure it's clear and working. We flush down about 30 ml. It feels really cold, it's ever so peculiar, but I get used to it. She then attaches the end of the giving set, which has the feed in it, to my feeding tube, and that's it really. I'm hooked up then for the next 12 hours for my feed, and I'll just go to sleep with it, and like I said, I don't really notice anything at all. Now my feeding tube is all attached up to the feeding pump. It will run for 12 hours. It's overnight, and so I don't even notice it's going in. It's only going in at a rate of 80 ml an hour, so it's only dropping in my stomach really to avoid me feeling full. But overall I get 2,000 calories in that 12 hours, which is incredible really, because the guideline daily amount for a normal woman is 2,000 calories, and I'm getting that just while I sleep. My aim is to be having 4,000 calories a day. I've never had a nasogastric feed before until now, like I said, just because my weight had dropped so low. I've got on with it really well, and so I've decided I'm actually going to have it at home, and I'm going to pass the tube every night and have a nightly feed because it's just improved my weight so much. As you can see, I've got nice chubby cheeks now. I get to go home on Friday, and it's currently Wednesday, so I've only got 2 more days left, and then I've got freedom. And I'm actually off on a skiing holiday on the 22nd, which I'm so excited about. My mum only told me this morning that I was going, so yeah, in 10 days time I'll be on the top of a mountain skiing, having lots of hot chocolate, and I've got loads of other things that I'm looking forward to. Plans for the summer to go to Glastonbury Festival. I'm turning 21, so having big celebrations for that. And yeah, I'm just trying to live life to the fullest really, and be as happy and positive and healthy as I can be. I'm sorry this video has been so long, but I couldn't really help it to fit in everything that I wanted to fit in. But hopefully I won't leave it as long until my next video, and I'll have some more news and maybe some more treatments to show you. I hope you've enjoyed it, and as always I'll put the link for the Cystic Fibrosis Trust as well, in case you want to donate. That'll be brilliant. So bye for now.